a Yoruba self-determination group named Yoruba Voice of Liberation, Y0RUB, that is YOVOLIB, has petitioned the United Nations, European Union, African Union, American government, and the British government, and Nigeria Human Rights Commission, and other governors of Yoruba-speaking states, including Kogi and Kwara State. The group also warned the Nigerian government against arresting leading Yoruba nationalists, especially the Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Gani Adams, and President General of the Yoruba World Congress, WIC, Professor Banji Akintoye, and also a man called Sunday Igboho that many of them have been trying to threaten. Of course, he's standing his ground. He's a man that has been tested, but then, as you know, every man has his own weakness. Nigerians in diaspora will respond if these two leaders, Gani Adams and Professor Banji Akintoye, are touched, or any of them. In a statement titled 4 Things President Muhammadu Buhari Must Do to Avoid International Actions and Sanctions, and made available to newsmen on Thursday, 1st of October. Of course, that is the day today, 1st of October, Nigeria is celebrating their mediocrity, corruption, and what it is. The president of the group, Dr. Adekunle Ademola Esquire, a United Kingdom-based lawyer, urged the international communities to call the Buhari-led government to order on the use of live bullets against armless protesters, saying it is a gross abuse of human rights, which, if not stopped, could lead to a revolutionary response from the people. In fact, if you look online and you just everywhere you see around you, you see that the agencies are arresting people who are protesting without any form of violence, and this is not supposed to be. They might hide under these COVID-19 protocols, probably, but the truth is this: even if there is no coronavirus, they will still do the same thing. Nigerian government, they said, must respect right of expression and violence on peaceful protesters and provide platform for dialogue on way forward. The job of law enforcement agencies is to monitor the protest such that order is maintained, not going after people who are not aggressive, who are simply standing with placards and with their voices out, raised out, nothing more. You don't go grab on them. This is far from the case in the treatment of protesters in Nigeria from what you see every other place. For example, in September 2019, Agnes Callamard, United Nations Special Rapporteur for Extrajudicial, stated in our report on 29 and 30 May 2016, during a demonstration, the Nigerian military opened fire on the indigenous people of Biafra members and bystanders in Onitsha. At least 60 persons were said to have been killed and over 70 people injured, mainly shot in the back. Now, the exact number of deaths remain unknown. In fact, not too long, something like that happened in Enugu, where people were gathered and they claimed that the group has been proscribed and they shot at them. Harmless people. People of Yoruba land and entire Nigeria have the right to peacefully express their choices in the affairs of that contraption called Nigeria. In every civilized community, similar to what operated during Brexit and similar situations in the history of nations, groups and parties for and against particular terms of association should be allowed to exercise their fundamental rights of expression in an enabling environment that enhances informed choices. Also, Nigerian government must desist from part of deploying military and lethal weapons on peaceful protesters. It is the job of the police to control citizen population in law enforcement, while the army is for controlling and enforcing borders. Dispatching military to meet peaceful protesters with lethal weapons is a breach of the law, national and international. For example, it is very alarming that trailer load of heavily armed military men were deployed targeting an individual. In the case of Mr. Sunday Adeyemo, all in an attempt by the federal government to stop a planned peaceful protest. No harm should happen to Ààrẹ Gani Adams, although he has not been outspoken that much as regards the breakaway and the protest 1st of October and the Oduduwa Nation, whatever name they want to come up with. Professor Banji Akintoye in this case has been very loud, and Mr. Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho Osha. No harm should happen to any of them as they are out there agitating for their right. We ask the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Burtai, return to the barracks with your armed men or go to Sambisa Forest where your kinsmen are out there ravaging and killing, maiming, and whatever it is, and leave the job of protest management to the police. Yoruba people of the southwest of Nigeria and all ethnicity must not condone the practice of unprovoked attacks or killings of protesters, which are purely acts of state terrorism. The Nigerian government must honor obligations under Arms Trade Treaty or be prepared to face international sanction on supply of weapons. In April 2013, the United Nations adopted the Arms Trade Treaty, ATT, to regulate the international trade of weapons in a way to enhance international and regional peace and reduce human sufferings, including sufferings in the hands of government that use these weapons to suppress their citizens. Nigeria ratified and acceded to this treaty on 12 August 2013 and came into force on 24 December 2014. The report by various bodies are in condemnation of interactions between peaceful protesters and the Nigerian government forces. They say they call on Nigerian government to honor relevant obligations. A country where lethal weapons are deployed on peaceful demonstrators must be sanctioned in relation to international treaty, and supply of such weapons must be cut off, an obligation to which the international community must stand by. Nigerian government must honor and recognize the right to life of the people. Article 3, Universal Declaration of the Human Rights 1948 protects the right to life. Section 33, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provides that persons living in Nigeria shall have a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life unless in execution of the sentence of a court of a criminal offense of which he has been found guilty or she has been found guilty. Now, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has demonstrated alarming degree of failure on these grounds, considering the degree of loss of lives and property. We are calling on governors of all Yoruba states and all other states where well-meaning citizens are directly having their fundamental human right to life compromised to do more to ensure protection of lives and properties in their states and regions. Lastly, the world is watching, particularly as the anniversary of independence of the country approaches. Well, it is already there anyway. As they finish up the independence, we demand that the rights of the people be observed to the full dictates of the law. So that's just what it is. I don't know why this regime is hell-bent on making sure that they shut any voice of dissent, and they are not accepting or allowing anyone to kind of speak against them. Well, it has been said by this group anyway, and I believe a lot of people are in support of this. And moreover, these people are not just ordinary people that you can just come across and you think you can just crush them. But then, if they do not have support, they are just as an island. That's just what it is, alone. But with the voice of the people together, we will get to where we want. That's just what it is. So guys, that is Y0RUB already petitioning the European Union, American government, British government, African Union, and several human rights commission against the activities of this regime on any of those people. Are on Okankan for Yoruba land, Gani Adams, President General of the Yoruba World Congress, Professor Banji Akintoye, and Sunday Igboho.